Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be talking about paper and sketch pads today. I've had a few of you asked what paper do I use, what papers do I recommend and things like that. So I thought I'd make a little video just explaining what I use and what I've used in the past and what I prefer, etc. As you can see, I've got 3 Daler Rowney sketchbooks in front of me. This is basically what I'm currently using at the moment. But before we get into brand names and size and weight and everything, the first and most important thing to look for when you're buying paper to draw on is this symbol just here. It says acid free. I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring that up a bit closer. Acid free, that's what you've got to look for. Basically that means excuse me, that means that the paper is sort of pH neutral. There's not too much acid in it, because what acid does in paper, it causes it to go yellow over time and disintegrate, which is not a good look for your drawing. So I always go for acid-free paper. And basically, if you walk into any art shop and buy drawing paper or watercolour paper for that matter, you know, the chances are it will be acid-free, but it's always worth checking. So always make sure of that first, because I have actually bought so-called artist quality paper that hasn't been acid-free. You know, you buy it in bulk, you buy it cheap and everything, and you find out that it's not acid free, so it's not going to be any good for doing finished drawings and hanging them on your wall, because as soon as the sunlight gets onto it or the air gets onto it, it's going to turn yellow after a few years and not look very good at all. In fact, a good case in point is this book here. Yeah, I know how to draw. Yeah, okay. It was my first drawing book actually, so just bear with me on this. My mum bought me this in 1980 actually, when I was still at school. But anyway, enough about that. As you can see, the cover's fairly white. It's kind of protected with some kind of shiny stuff, but when I open it up, you can see that, I mean, that's not shiny, that's kind of matte finish, but you can see how that's gone yellow over 30 odd years of just sitting in a bookshelf or in a box or whatever, and that one stayed white. So obviously that is not acid free, that paper, and that's kind of what's going to happen to your drawing paper if you use anything less than acid free. So just bear that in mind. Okay, somebody actually asked me, can I use printer paper for drawing? Yeah, you can. I do. I use it for just rough sketches and planning out. I wouldn't dream of using it for a finished drawing at all, because again, it's back to the acid-free business. I don't know if it's acid-free. It doesn't say so on the packet, so I can only assume that it isn't. So who knows what it's going to do in time. And it's always, you know, very thin and cheap paper. It does have a nice smooth surface to work on though. So it's a good paper to use just for sketching and practicing graphite powder techniques and things like that. But you know, not recommended for a finished drawing. So there we go. Right, okay, so back to these then. We'll start with the big one first. This is an A3 size Daler Rowney sketch pad or drawing pad. It's a smooth surface, heavyweight paper, and what heavyweight basically means is, you see these numbers here where it says 100, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, is it even in frame? Bring it up closer. Where it says 135 pounds, that basically means the weight of the ream or the roll when the paper's just been made, and the 220 GM2 means it's 220 grams per square metre of paper. That's all that means. So in comparison, this one is a very lightweight paper. This is only 65 pounds compared to 135 pounds. So this paper's going to be a lot thicker, a lot nicer to work on, and a lot better quality all round. But obviously, you know, it's more expensive as well. For example, this one comes with 25 sheets and this one comes with 50. If these two are the same size, if this one was an A4, they'd both be the same price, but you'd get twice as much in this one. But it is very thin paper. I've only got a couple of sheets left in there actually. I'm in two minds whether to buy this one again. It's okay for you know, certain things, but probably not for your best drawings, but it's okay. It's good value for money. But it is thin. I mean, if you're not careful with it, it will kind of crease and fold, you know, as you're drawing on it, so you just have to be a bit careful with that one. Now the other one, and this is probably my favourite all-time paper, it's the famous red and yellow Daler Rowney cartridge paper, smooth cartridge paper. It's actually suitable for doing light washes of watercolour on, as well as for the obvious sort of water-soluble graphite techniques and ink drawings and obviously pencil, etc. It kind of says along here with these symbols, pencils, I mean that's charcoal or pastel, ink, but it does actually work for you know, very, very light washes of watercolour as well. Although it says smooth cartridge paper, it has got a very, very light grain to it, more so than the other two. If I just, there's a little doodle that I've done in here which kind of, if I get this in the frame, don't judge me on this, this is just messing around. I bought some carbon pencils which are almost black and I was just testing it on this paper. I don't know if you can see, if the camera will focus, but these trees in the distance there, can you see how that when I've shaded over with the carbon pencil, how it's not gone in all the little dips in the paper, it's kind of just sat on top and it's left that sort of sparkly effect. Like the trees are sort of, you know, covered in little highlights and everything. Well, basically that's the grain working for you. So that's something to consider. You know, that's all to do with your style and the subject that you draw. I mean, I know some artists like a fairly grainy paper when they're doing portraiture, for example, because it looks like pores in the skin and things like that, whereas other artists will say, no, I like a really smooth paper so that I can blend the skin tones in better. It's like I say, it's so subjective, there's no right or wrong in this whatsoever, it's entirely up to you what you prefer. But for a general all-round paper that's good for sort of water-based mixed media, as well as just plain graphite drawing, that's definitely one of my favourites. It's a very good quality paper. It's £90 in weight, which is sort of in between these two. And I think that, I mean, these go for about a £5, something like that. You probably get them even cheaper if you look online and get a good deal. But that's the one I prefer at the moment. And this is another very good quality paper, purely because it's heavyweight. It's got a nice smooth surface. It's nice for graphite powder technique and things like that. Daler Rowney actually do a whole range, if I just bring this one to the top, a whole range of drawing papers. As you can see, the design is pretty much the same. The only thing that changes is the colour and the little drawing that's in the middle there. But I think there's a brown one, a yellow one, obviously blue and pink. I think there may be a couple more as well. But basically, the different coloured ones, it's just different weights. That's all it is. Some of them say fine grain, some of them say smooth grain. The fine grain is a little bit coarser than the smooth grain, so you know, that's going to be more like this. And again, we've got these symbols here, and you'll notice this one's actually got a brush on it, so this is suitable for light washes of watercolour as well as ink, marker pen, etc. But you'll notice out of all of them, this one's actually got a symbol for a pastel or charcoal block, whatever. And that's because of the slight grain on this. If you put pastel or charcoal on a really smooth paper, it's going to fall off, it's not going to get into the grain and stay there. But it will do on this one. So that's why this is a you know, a good option for a general all-round drawing paper, if you like. So that's the Daler Rowney that I've been using. And going back to the acid-free, I've actually used this pad. I'll just bring this one in here. I've actually used this pad for years. Before they were even Daler Rowney, they just used to be called Daler. I think some of the drawings I've done in here are dated to 1997. Yeah, so, and you can see that this paper is not yellowed at all. It's nice and white, just like, you know, it's the same sort of whiteness as that one there. So it's not yellowed at all, and that's, you know, quite a few years old, so, you know, that has been tried and tested by me, and I do really like this one, so highly recommend it. Just move that out of the way. But before I get sued by every other paper manufacturer out there, I've got to say that there are obviously other brands available, and over the years I've used quite a few of them. I've still got some of my old sketchbooks here. This one's Gold Line. I don't even know if this is still available. Not particularly brilliant. It was okay for sort of light washes of watercolour, things like that, but although it says fine grain, it was quite a coarse texture paper. But it's okay. And there's nothing wrong, well, I say there's nothing wrong, you might not like it, again it's personal choice, but this is from my local stationery supply shop, and this is acid free, lightly textured surface for sketching, light washes and gouache, acid free, nice and cheap. Just, you know, it's good paper to mess about on. Or if you're a beginner and you're worried about wasting expensive paper, I mean, go for something like this, because it's not going to cost the earth. And I think I bought this in a pack of 3 for probably under a £5. I don't think it was very dear, but it's quite a while ago I bought that. I haven't bought it since, but I've kind of stuck to the daily rounding. And also, if you like going out sketching or just sitting sort of with a sketchbook on your lap and you don't want to use drawing boards and all that kind of thing, because with a lot of these kind of sketch pads, you get like a cardboard backing on there, on the back, and it will flex. It looks like it's going to be okay, but believe me, they do flex. Whereas these hardback sketchbooks, they're brilliant, just for sort of going out sketching with. This is daily rounding as well, for going out sketching with, or just for sitting on your lap. I've got a couple of these in different sizes. I prefer the A5 size for going out sketching. It's daily rounding again. It's a nice. I've looked through this for years actually. I don't even know what's in it. Probably a load of rubbish, but I think there might even be some in here that I've. Oh, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked now. Yeah, I think there's a few pictures in there that you may have seen on some of my previous videos. But these are okay just for going out sketching. You know, they're a nice size, they're a hardback, so they're not going to sort of fold on you as you're drawing with them. Great size to put in your art bag or your rucksack, or even in the glove box of your car. So it's kind of worth getting a few sketchbooks and trying out what you like the best. This one, it's a little moleskin. I'm sure you all know about moleskin sketchbooks. I bought this. It's actually a watercolour one. It's too small really. I don't like this size of paper at all. It's just way too small. But a lot of you like this kind of thing because you can put this in your pocket and it's lightweight. And it also comes in drawing paper, you know, cartridge paper as well as watercolour paper. I find them okay. The paper's very good quality, but they are a bit pricey. So I had a look at this one. It looks like a moleskin, doesn't it? It's not actually. It's by a company called Sea White of Brighton. It was quite cheap actually, quite a lot of paper in there. It's not the best sketch pad in the world. It's a hard-backed one, but it's not the best quality paper. The paper is quite, I don't know if you can see, you might even be able to see through that top piece of paper into the drawing underneath. It's very thick and stiff, but it's very see-through. I think it's got a lot of cellulose in it or something, I don't really know. But it's okay for sketching. I've tried watercolour on it. It's no good really for that. I don't even know if it's acid free, but it was cheap and they're okay just to sort of doodle on or throw in the glove box of your car if you get a flash of inspiration while you're out driving or something. And also something else I use is watercolour paper. I like this for drawing when I'm using mixed media techniques like watercolour pencil or the graphitin pencils, anything water soluble. I kind of prefer this because it's quite stiff, This is actually Bockingford. I don't know if you can see, if I get that in the light there, you can see that one's smooth and one's got a slight texture. I can't see if that's going to focus or not. Anyway, one of them is what's called a knot surface or cold press surface, and that has a light sort of a medium texture. It's a lot coarser than any cartridge paper that you'll buy, and that'll produce some nice effects with graphite as well. So it's worth giving that a try. And also this one is Bockingford as well, and it's a smooth watercolour paper. It's basically like very, very heavyweight cartridge paper, and it kind of reacts the same when you're using it with watercolour, apart from it doesn't buckle quite so much. So that's that then. So again, it's all down to personal choice, what you prefer. I recommend buying a few just to see how you go. You might be naturally given to, you know, working on rough textures or smooth textures, one or the other. And again, the size can make quite a difference as well. I mean, I prefer A4 size. I just find it easier to work on. But I do like to sometimes work on larger A3 size and sketch on obviously the A5 size. So it might be worthwhile, you know, going down the art shop and just buying 2 or 3, 4 sketch pads, different makes, different textures, different sizes, and just kind of see what you like. But my recommendation is the Daily Rowney range, because they've been around for years. I've used them for years. I've never ever had any problems with their paper at all. I think a lot of artists out there will agree with me. You know, it's very good quality paper. I know a lot of artists out there use very expensive watercolour paper like Arches or Fabriano. Again, that's entirely up to you. I've tried it. It works great, but I don't see any point really when I'm kind of happy with these. So, okay, so I'll leave it at that. I hope that's been helpful to you. I'll be making another video demo soon, showing some more drawing techniques, etc. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.